Okay, as we continue our guitar journey, we need to talk about how are you going to be attacking the strings, okay? And I'm going to recommend that you use a pick, okay? There's two basic ways that you can be attacking the strings with guitar. You can use your fingers in what's called finger picking, where you're picking the strings with your fingers, or you could be using the pick. I recommend at first to use the pick, and here's why. Because I said so! No, here's why. Because when you, if you want to play fingerstyle, I think that's great, but that is a lot harder. Each finger has to go on a certain string, and to get that technique down and to get real proficient at it takes a long time. It's a very much more difficult. And remember, here at the Next Level Guitar, I want to get you playing the guitar fast. I want you to be having fun. And so I recommend let's use the pick first, because that's going to get you playing and strumming and having fun, and then later, if you want to, you can get into finger picking. Okay? So let's talk about the pick, how to hold it, the different types of picks, and how we're going to go on with that, right? Okay. Now, remember, anything that touches the guitar affects the sound, affects your tone, okay? And tone is huge with me. I think the two biggest things with guitars are playability and tone. How does the guitar sound? I really don't care if it's black, white, red, ultraviolet, and flesh color. I don't care. Okay? Yeah, I like sunbursts. A lot of my guitars are sunbursts, but it really doesn't matter. If it's a cool guitar, it's a cool guitar, right? I care about how does it sound. What's the tone? How does it play? How does it feel? Okay? Your pick. Even something as simple as a pick affects how the guitar sounds. Their picks, remember, are made in various materials. They're also made in various sizes, shapes, depths. There's thin picks, medium picks, thick picks. There's picks made of celluloid, picks made of nylon, picks with holes in them. All kinds of picks. Picks that are curved, picks that are small, picks that are big, right? And over time you can try different ones and find the one you really like. We're going to stick with the standard shape pick. And I want you to, first time you go out and you buy picks, buy an assortment pack. They sell them in any music store. Picks are cheap. Buy a pack, you get some mediums, some heavies, and some lights. I recommend at first using medium picks. I've always used, I've tried various shapes over the years and sizes and thicknesses. Mediums work for me. I really like them. I like picks made of celluloid medium. That's me. Great thing about guitar, man, is do your own thing. And you might find that you like thin nylon picks. Great, whatever one you like. But remember this, that the pick affects the sound of the guitar. So if I play this chord with a medium pick, I'll play D. Sounds like that. With a thin pick, it might sound a little bit not as bright. Or a thicker pick might be not as bright, because the thickness of the pick affects the attack. So there's a sound difference with picks. Subtle, yes, but difference. So I'm going to shoot in a close-up in a second on the pick, and I'm going to show you how to hold it, and I'm going to show you a couple different types, and I'm going to make some suggestions at first, okay? So the main thing to remember is the pick affects the sound, so you want to experiment with some different ones, and I'm going to show you a few different ones and how to hold the pick. So let's zoom in the camera. Okay, so when we're talking about picks, and for our friends in other countries, they might call the pick plectrum, right? Same thing. Pick, plectrum, same thing. So we're going to zoom the pick in close now, and I'm just going to put the guitar down so we can really get a tight shot on a couple of these picks. More? A little more. Perfect. Okay. This is a nylon pick. Okay, it's made out of nylon. A lot of my students really like these because this particular model has raised letters. So it's almost like grips on them. So I give these picks to all my beginner students because when you're first playing, you don't want the pick moving in your hand. And a lot of my students have that challenge, that it moves in their hand. So I give them one of these, bang, done deal, taken care of. Nylon pick with raised letters, so you can grip it a lot easier. As opposed to, I said I like celluloid. Here's a celluloid pick, and this is your standard shape of a pick. Okay? I like the celluloid ones. They've always worked for me. Okay, yes, they are slipperier, more slippery. And a lot of times the beginner players sometimes complain this slips in their hand. So you might want to get a couple of each and mess around with them. Okay? Now, holding the pick. There's two main schools of thought when holding the pick. Okay? The first way. Now, I'm going to show you the very traditional way of holding the pick. What you want to do is basically you're going to hold the pick like this. You're going to take the pick and you see how my thumb is over the top, okay? And I'm holding it with between my first finger on guitar, your index finger is number 1, and your thumb, okay? And basically I'm going to give you a couple different angles of this. You're not out here. Because if you're holding the pick out there, there's too much, you're not going to have any control. Got to go in here and your thumb goes right over the top. Okay? So it's going to look like this from this angle. And if I turn my hand around, you could see it right there. Okay? Thumb over the top and you're going to be strumming like this. Okay? And you're holding the pick in a way in which you're squeezing it so you can't pull it out or it moves, but you're not monkeying it really, really, really hard. Okay? So hold it so you can't pull it out. But, you know, don't go too crazy because, again, you want to keep everything natural. That's a very traditional way of holding the pick that everybody really, really, a lot of people use this way of holding it. Yeah. Looks like that again. Okay? Now, because I'm a non-traditional type of guy, I hold the pick a little differently, and that works for me. Okay? The way I hold the pick is probably the way that anyone who doesn't hold it that way holds it this way for the most part. The way I hold it is like this. If you point the tip straight up, okay, my first finger right here, about a little more than halfway, and then I just come right over the top with my thumb. And I hold it like that. Like this. Okay? The other way was more like this. See, it was turned down. I hold it more like this, up. That just seems to work better for me. So I'm kind of going like this. And I'm only using 2 fingers. Just your thumb and your first finger. Okay? Again, not like this where you have no control. You want to be up, and not like this so you only have this tiny little bit there. Right? Right there. That's pretty darn good. And here's a look at the underside of it. That way. Okay? I'm trying to give you an all angle. A virtual tour of the pick. Okay? That's the way. And the more traditional way is, zinc, just turn it sideways with your thumb over the top. And you get that. Okay? So try them both ways, and you can zoom out on the camera for me. And try both ways and find the way that feels the most comfortable. You can come in a little closer. Find a way that's the most comfortable to you. I suggest either of those ways. Now, sometimes you'll have a student that will play with the side of the pick, and some students do that and they like it. And I have a couple students who are really good at it, using the side of the pick. Which is very interesting to me because I tried it and it's very, very foreign to use that side of the pick. Or some of my students use like a jazz pick, which is like half of this size, really small. It works for them, you know, and if it works for them and they're happy with it and it's not messing with their technique and their playing is fluid, that's great. Again, I'm not from the school of thought that you have to do it my way or the highway. And there's only one way to do it. I don't believe in that. Right? So, try this a few different ways. It's going to feel a little weird at first, but like everything on the guitar, you'll get used to it after some very little time. And remember, don't let the pick start moving in your hand. If it's starting to do that, go to a music store, get a pick with raised letters, or sometimes you'll have picks that have like notches in them, or like raised lines, anything to give it more grip. A couple other things I've had students do. One of my students put a piece of masking tape around their pick. Worked fine. Yeah, and it just gave her that little bit of extra grip on it. Another one of my students took their pick, interesting guy, and he put it on a flat surface and he took an awl, like a sharp metal object, right? And he punched holes in it. And it made the surface very rough, and he could get his little bits of his fingers in those holes, and it just made him be able to grab it better, and he really likes it. So that's cool. You know, it's in a couple of creative ways, because most of the time the pick is gonna, at first, it does tend to move around in your hand. So if you don't like the raised letters, try putting a piece of tape around it, or try putting some holes in it. Or they actually make picks from different manufacturers that come with holes in it that might feel. But remember, every time you do some type of alteration or you choose a different pick or different thickness, it's going to change the sound a little bit. So be aware of that. That's important. Alright, we'll see you in the next module. Take your pick! Pick of destiny. Pick of destiny. I like that.